sheet. Janelle mentioned to me that some people had said, what about a one sheet on the script that I had posted on the screenplay that I had posted on the website. And I had actually never done one for that, and in fact, I needed to actually I hadn't even done a log line for it. And so I thought, well, yeah, I should do that. And that's a good exercise for me. And so I did that. And I did this. And so, one of the things I should talk about is what a one sheet is for. Because when you use it and how you use it, because I think there's a lot of misconceptions about it, and so let's understand that clearly, because a lot of it, because when we talk about it, this is a selling document. This is a marketing tool, but it's a very specific kind of marketing tool. And it's only used in very specific kinds of circumstances. And it, in doing it, and in also talking to a number of members that have happened to me over the past few weeks, and hearing some of their stories and what they've been doing in trying to sell their stuff, and so on, stuff where, I'm just sort of inside screaming, don't do that, and so I thought, well, let's please understand that let's not put the cart before the horse, and let's understand what these things are for and how to use them. So first of all, these things are not to be printed up and handed out, in any kind of wide distribution. That's not what they're for. One sheets are very, very specifically used as part of a pitch. And they're basically used as a leave behind. And that's what some people even call them, is a leave behind. Which is that after you've done a pitch, and the pitch that you're doing is you're pitching your screenplay or your television script to an agent or a talent manager or a production company, representative from a production company, or a studio executive. Those are the only people you'd be talking to. And there are people who say, well, we're talking to directors and so on, and I'm saying, please don't do that. And if somebody wants to know why, we can talk about that, but that's a separate subject. Or, somebody else besides directors and so on. But, the people you need to be talking to are either agents or entertainment attorneys or producers or production companies, which are essentially the same thing. Then you go and you're having a meeting with them. So the meeting is set up. And then in the course of that meeting, your one sheet is either an aid for you as part of your pitch to help you pitch it. And then assuming, and this is assuming they like the idea and they're the proper, then you leave it behind. And by the way, they have to be the right person. You can't do this indiscriminately, okay? You can't just pitch just say, well, okay, he's a producer, I'll pitch to him. You know, well, who is he? What kind of productions does he do? Let's say, for example, you've got a script that's a rough, raw, R-rated script, okay? And he's a producer that's he's got a locked-in deal with Disney, okay? So he's only, you know, he's only gonna do, you know, G or PG movies or TV, because, you know, that's his deal with Disney. So why am I talking to him about this? He's the wrong guy, okay? And I shouldn't be talking to this. There's also another side to this thing about indiscriminate use, and that is, and the reason is, the lead into this is that the past 2 weeks we've been talking about high concept. And high concept is the thing that you can sell, the thing that has mass market appeal. And if you have an idea that has mass market appeal, you need to understand that if you're not pitching it to someone in a way that's been set up properly, for example, through an agency or so on, and if I'm just pitching it to somebody, they can just say, hey, you know what? Thank you very much. Let us think about that. You know, Dennis, that's an interesting idea. Let me think about that. And then I go back to my partner and say, you know, that's great. Let's get our writers and let's go and do something with that. And you know, that sounds just, perfect for this and this actor that we've got working on this other movie. Let's go talk to him and we'll put this package together. Dennis, and Dennis here gone. Okay? So that's the deal. That can happen very easily. So the way to avoid that is to have the pitch meeting set up properly. So this is not necessarily a calling card, okay? This is not like a business card. You don't just hand these out, okay? This is a leave behind for a pitch meeting. Now, can you do this at a pitch fest? Yes, you can. But again, understand who you're talking to. You know, if you're at a pitch fest, there might be 10 representatives of 10 production companies, usually a more junior person. Fair enough, that doesn't matter because they can get it to the creative director. Creative director doesn't make decisions, by the way. It's the producer that makes the decision. The creative director can make a recommendation. But this guy can bring it to the creative director. Again, who is he? What are the circumstances? Are they the right people for it? What is their studio deal? Do they have a studio deal or can they go to all, you know? So, yes, you can do this as a lead behind, but not indiscriminately. This is not a business card. You have to be careful.
I think that most of the times when we're talking, that's what they're talking, is that it's a business card, leave behind when you're in a pitch situation. That's the use of it being called as a business card. That's the terminology that we've become
And
familiar with.
that is not this. You don't do
But
that.
if you're in a pitch fest, you know, then you can leave it behind. That's all that terminology. If they're interested and they're showing an interest, because a lot of our members have gone to pitch fest and they've asked or they've left behind.
Yes, Janelle, I'm saying yes, you can, if you know who you're talking
Right.
to. If you,
Right.
what I'm saying, you can't do it indiscriminately. You can't just say, okay, you're a pitch fest, here, I'll leave it behind with you, and I'll leave it behind with you, and I'll leave it, no.
Yeah, I don't think any of our members are thinking of it in that way. I think that we've gone through pitching and presenting at Pitch Fest, you know, quite a bit, that they're pretty knowledgeable into, you know, what we need to do is we need to hone in on what they're leaving behind is what meets industry standards and what they should be leaving behind. That's what we really need to, you know, like, get down to what
Yeah,
are
go ahead.
the components.
I have a question. Since we are privileged to know about successful, which you have been, do you have an agent that pitches for you, or have you done it yourself?
No, what happens, what agents do is agents do setups. Sometimes agents can pitch, but, I mean, agents pitch. But agents also, what an agent is wanting to do is get you in a room.
Okay.
Okay, look, think about it in terms of everybody's gone to apply for a job, right? So you've all gone and applied for a job at some time in your life, and you have had a resume, okay? So your resume, so what was the purpose of your resume? Well, the purpose of your resume was to get you an interview,
Right.
right? The interview was to get you in the room it had no other purpose except to get you in the room with the person who could get you that job. Well, the idea of this stuff is to get you in the room with somebody. An agent can get you in the room. Now, if it's a book agent, it's different because, with a book agent, he can sell the stuff. He doesn't need you to sell the stuff.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And sometimes with a screenplay and an agent, they may not need you for that either. However, if you're doing a pitch where they're not sure, or you're for example, especially in something like television, where, for example, you're pitching a pilot or something like that, then before they'll even look at the script or something, they want to hear the pitch. And they want to see the person, they want to get the measure of it, see if this is somebody they can even work with, okay? And so then they'll say, okay, well, let's set up and let's talk to this person. And then you come with the pitch. And then this becomes a leave behind where the person says, only if the person's interested. Remember, this is a leave behind only if they say, yeah, I'm interested. If it's, a pitch for so on, because then it's a talking point for them too. Because whoever you leave it with, or whoever says, yeah, I'm interested, even if they say, yeah, send me the script, which is fine, you send them the script, or your agent sends them the script, they still need to have a talking point to their boss, or if it's in a studio, to a studio exec, and every studio exec has bosses, and they have to sell it. And, at the end of the day, at a studio, there's only one GG. And GG is the green light guy. There's one guy that will say, yeah, go make the movie. Yeah, we're gonna, go buy it. Go do it. And all the other executives have to line up for that before he'll say that. And then he'll take a look at it and decide for himself, because it's a major investment for them. And then he'll look at the attachments, he'll look at everything else associated with it. So everybody else who likes it has to sell it to somebody else. And this can be a help. Okay, this is like, it helps them then sell, because the first thing they'll say, well, what's it about? Well, you've got the log line. Okay, well, you've got the genre. So it helps them explain to whoever they're selling it to what the thing is really about.
Question. I think a lot of us here that have done these one-page deals and have written a script are probably miles away from getting into in front of a director or producer. And I think that since we're kind of a pretty creative group here, and she's gotten a lot of, and you've gotten a lot of speakers, I think we were talking about a mini or dry run pitch festival with just, we've got 80 members. And if they're all serious about trying to do something, I think before you get to the step that you're talking about, you got to iron out a bunch of the minutia that a lot of the writers don't understand to get to that point.
I couldn't agree more. One of my concerns, well, I have two concerns. You bring up some very, very, very important points, Mike. I have two concerns. One concern is there's a ton about the business, about the steps that you have to take to get to that place. And most of you guys don't know those steps. And at some point, we need to go over and have to try and help you get to those steps. But then there's another part of it is to make sure that everybody's work is at a place where
Don't embarrass yourself.
well, I'd like to tell a story. They'll explain the difference, because it's really a difference between what's professional and what's amateur. And it's a story worth hearing. If anybody is familiar with boxing, say back in the 1970s, do you remember the name Bobby Chacon?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Bobby Chacon was, if you knew anything about boxing back in the 70s, you knew the name Bobby Chacon, especially if you were from the West Coast. And he was a great featherweight, and he was from LA, and Mexican-American fighter. And they used to call him Schoolboy Bobby Chacon because he had gone to college, very unusual for a fighter. Anyway, Cal State Northridge, I think. But anyway, the way I got involved was that a friend of mine named Stan Rothman was a freelance reporter, and who's very into boxing. And he had been a Golden Gloves boxer and a heavyweight champion. So he had been a serious amateur boxer. Big guy, Stan, about 6'3", about 235, 240 pounds, solid as hell, still in very good shape. And he loved boxing. And he was following Bobby, who was a phenomenal fighter. I think he went like 46 fights without a loss. Just amazing. He was unbelievable till he stepped up in class and ran into Reuben Carter at Madison Square Garden.
Hurricane.
What happened was that he had a terrible tragedy in his life too, but that's another story. What happened was that Bobby Chacon, they became friends, Stan and Bobby, and he liked to write about it. But one day they got into this really stupid discussion, kind of macho thing that men sometimes do because we're idiots. And it was about, and Stan said, he thought he could take Bobby because, and Bobby said, what are you talking about? And Stan said, well, I'm way, I'm a heavyweight. I got 100 pounds of muscle on you. I'm way bigger than you are, and you could punch me and you could beat me up and you could cut me all over, but then sooner or later I'm going to catch you with one punch, and when I do, that's the end of you. And Bobby said, you don't know what you're talking about. You're an idiot. You can't possibly win. And Stan said, why not? And Bobby said, because you're an amateur and I'm a pro. And Stan said, that's bullshit, you know, I'm way bigger, I can take you. And so there's only one way to solve a really stupid argument like this, and that's put the gloves on, right? So Stan came to me, he told me he was gonna do this, and I said, you're really an idiot. And he said, no, I want you to be my second. I said, oh, I'd love, you know, and I said, that I would even pay to do, because I'd love to see an idiot get his just dues. So I was there. We went to, you know, they used to go down to that Olympic gym and in LA, and so we went, and so Stan put on the gloves, and like I said, he towered over. I mean, Bobby, you know, he was featherweight, 125 pounds, right? 5'6". And so they go at it, and they're going at it for about 20 seconds. They're kind of circling Bobby, hits him a couple of nothing. All of a sudden, Bobby hits him with a left hook to the midsection, and bang, stands on the canvas, and he can't even breathe. He's down. He's done. That's it. It's over. I mean, yeah, we were really worried. So we have to, all of us, Bobby, me, his second, me, we're all dragging Stan back to the, you know, and I'm splashing, what, can you breathe, you know? You have to call a paramedic, what's going, you know. So finally he starts to breathe, and now here's the point of the story, okay? So finally he catches his breath, and Bobby's really concerned. He said, you know, I'm really sorry, but I told you, you didn't stand a chance. And Stan said, how did you do that? And Bobby said, what do you mean? He said, what kind of punch was that? And Bobby said, what do you mean? And he said, I've never been hit like that in my life. What kind of punch was that? And Bobby said, it was a left hook. What do you mean? And Stan said, no. What kind of punch was that? I have never been hit like that in my life. And Bobby said to me, okay, when you throw a punch to the midsection, where do you aim?
Liver.
And Stan said, I don't know, your solar plexus. And Stan said to Bobby, why, where do you aim? And Bobby said, your backbone. Okay, now that's the difference between a pro and an amateur, okay? I'm a pro. When you guys write scripts, you're going up against me. Okay, and I'm aiming for your backbone. Okay, are you aiming for the backbone? Is your script aiming for the backbone? Is it ready? Because let me tell you something. You show a script to a producer or an agent, a real producer, a real Hollywood producer, a real Hollywood agent, and they take a look at it, and they'll look at it, and they'll start to read the first few, and they like the concept, and they'll read the first few pages, and if they don't think it's good, really good, that's not only is that script done, but you're done. You don't get another at-bat. Okay? That's not, you don't get, okay, that's the first inning, you get another at-bat in the third inning. No, you're done. Okay? So it has to be good. So when I keep saying, let's not put the cart before the horse, people want to know what's the magic formula. There's no magic formula, there's work. There's getting it right. So this is a selling document, and it's good because it teaches us to focus on what our content is. But if we don't have the goods to deliver, then don't do it. Don't try to sell it. Get it right first. And that's what this group can be so invaluable for, that better than anything that exists. Because you can get really good, honest feedback. Not only feedback, but lessons that can help you improve it.
Let me
That's
ask you a
right.
question.
Yeah,
So if you do your log line,
yeah,
and if a fellow like you listens to it and likes it, then there's a 90% chance that you don't even have to get into the rest of it. But at our meetings over the last 8 months, a year, we'll do a log line, and then you'll ask the question whether, how did you come up with that? And then the next thing you know, people are talking about, well, I knew this person, or he was my father, or he was my mother, or she was my mother, or this was a good friend of mine. And my personal feeling after watching a lot of videos on this stuff, I don't think anybody wants to hear about that. What they want to do is the hook and what you're talking about.
right.
And I think we've got to zero in on getting the best possible log line there is, so that somebody says, hey, that's great, I want to, now send me the script or whatever. But if that log line doesn't have a hook and you don't like it, but the person has to go, track back and give you a scenario,
If somebody has to explain it to me, if somebody has to tell me about their mother or something, we're already lost, okay? The game's already over. This has to do it by itself. This one sheet like I said, this is a selling document. This has to do it all by itself. And, yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and having said that, the focus has to be, like we said, we want the thing that has an original hook, something original. Do you know how many pitches these guys get every day? Do you know how many people have stacks of scripts to the sky? And these are from professionals. These are from, up to it's incredible. Everybody goes home on weekends, on Thanksgiving, on whatever, and everybody's got stacks. On weekends they read, have to look at scripts. It's homework, it's not fun. Something you have to do isn't fun. It's homework. You remember school was homework fun? It's not fun. And they're looking at and they're praying. They're saying to themselves, please God, something original. Please God, something original. Don't give me the same old crap. Okay? Not the 99th vampire, something original.
And isn't that basically where, in doing these one sheets, that a lot of people make the mistake of telling about, like Mike was saying, telling about it, where the one sheet actually helps them drill in on the story itself and helps them realize that as you're putting your one sheet together, that A, B, C is not falling in A, B, and C as you're doing your one sheet as it is in your script. And so it's kind of like a planning tool that helps tighten up.
It is, it can be.
In your document itself.
Yeah, it absolutely, it can be a discipline. I just wanted to make sure everybody understood that, and you're right, it can be helpful as a discipline. So it has that is a side benefit. You're absolutely right. I just wanted to make sure everybody understood this is a selling tool, that's all, and it has to be used judicious, for the love of God, judiciously. Yeah.
There is a thing called final draft. Is there anything for a high concept one sheet on the internet that you could look at or fill in the blanks or?
YouTube has got a ton of
YouTube?
videos on all of this
You can
stuff.
search out, there's actually in there, and it shows do this and then blank and this and blank and
Yeah.
then blank. I mean, I can
For an
send you some of
exercise,
those,
for someone that never did it.
Yeah.
But I think when we go through this,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we'll.
Is that a plan?
Well, this is my one sheet.
No.
This just happens to be the one sheet. By the way, and the thing we sent out, the one thing I left off, I did leave off one thing, which you can put in a one sheet also, and in fact, you should put in a one sheet. And that is, if you have, credits or awards or, honors, but related to, screenwriting or stuff like that, so, you can't throw that in. And then normally you put in a contact, and, which would normally be an agent or something like that. But anyway, so that's the one sheet, and you'll see one sheets here, so you'll get a
Okay.
feel for what they, should look like, or, and so on. So, with that, I guess we should start. Don, you want to distribute yours?
Well, he said he'd like you to read yours first, so why don't you read your one sheet so they'll have an idea of what they're looking for as far as like the
Okay, and I did not include any credits on mine or anything, or my agent either.
Are you still pitching with all your success, or?
Oh, absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
You're still pitching?
Well, yeah, there are
It's
some
a
things that I
lifelong
want,
process.
yeah, there are some things that I don't have under contract, yeah. There are some things that I want to do, yeah, absolutely. So, yeah.
Every project has to pitch.
I
Yeah.
know, but he's up there with the manager.
No, there's, everybody, no, because.
So then you're not exclusive with.
No,
them.
everybody has to, no, even, it doesn't matter, everybody has to pitch at some point. Steven Spielberg has to pitch, everybody has to pitch. No, because, oh gosh.
No, I understand.
I mean, we could talk for hours
Yeah,
about
let's
this.
just.
This business is about, in order to make a movie or put on a TV show or so on, it's very complex, takes a lot of people, takes a lot of resources, takes a lot of money. To make a movie can cost $100 million, $200 million, depending on the movie. And in order to get that money, even a Steven Spielberg and so on is not going to put, I don't know anybody, even, billionaires like Spielberg and Geffen, who put their own money into movies. They go and they get finance, people who finance, there are companies that finance
Oh, I see.
movies. And everybody goes to the,
I
you have
see.
to understand, everybody goes, there's about 5 or 10 companies that do this. And everybody goes to the same bank, so to speak, and everybody goes to the same tellers, and everybody goes to the same windows, whether you're Steven Spielberg or the lowest indie, and you knock at the same door. Now, you may not get treated the same way when you walk in, but the reality is everybody has to pitch, and everybody, and you go in and they say, well, okay, who's attached and who's this and who's that and so on and so forth, and it's never easy, because there are rules that are really catch-22 type rules that make it very hard to get them, and that's why it's really hard to get a movie made or a project done, because of like one of the catch-22 rules, for example, is you can't get money to make a movie unless you have an attachment, like a director that they will accept, or a star that is acceptable to them. Why can't it be just any star? Because not any star. For example, let's say they want an international market, not every star has international cachet in the marketplace. So, like for example, I could have had my Scorpion, they came to me and I could have said yes to a Scorpion movie 6 months ago if I had accepted a certain star, and I said no, because I didn't see him in the role.
But
Was that
because he had international cachet.
okay, now, when you did that,
Yeah.
did you give up the right to either produce it, write the movie, or lose an option that somebody would have given you, say, $500,000 for your script? What was the relationship that you
No,
were giving up? What were you giving up by
I
doing
was
that?
giving up nothing, what I was giving up was the ability to have
Thing made.
them say, okay, here's the money, go do the movie today.
And you would have done it, the movie.
No.
Well, I would have co-produced the movie with other producers with whom we're partners. One of whom has 2 Academy Awards, another one who's produced major movies. and
But
so
you
on.
still had to go out and get the money for it.
Well, they had, yeah, they're the ones who actually go and knock on the doors, but the money's ready. The money's ready, it's a question of, do we put the attachment together? So the catch-22 is they won't give you the money unless you have an attachment they approve of. But you can't get an attachment without the money. That's the catch-20, because nobody will attach unless he's guaranteed that the day he signs, you give him X million dollars. That's the catch-22. Okay? Not so simple. Not so simple. There are other catch-22s in the business, but okay. So anyway, let's get back to we're not going to solve that today. I'll teach you more about this stuff later. But that's why when somebody says to me, even when somebody says, "Oh, I'll go make a movie and I'll go do an indie, and I'll go raise $1 million and I'll go see finance and if it's a super passion project of somebody's, well, that's one thing. That's something that God, they have to do, that's one thing. But if they're just doing it because they think that's how they're going to break through, my first question is, well, okay, so you make the movie, whatever, and who's going to see it, where are you going to show it? How does it get distributed? Because the only distribution in the United States of America, ladies and gentlemen, is either through a studio or a mini major. And there's only about 8 or so companies like that. So who is going to get to see it after you've made it? So now you've got a movie, right, but who sees it? So the only way you're going to get anybody to look at it is to, you'll go to the film festivals, and you'll go to Toronto, you'll go to Sundance, you'll go to Montreal, you'll go to wherever, and you'll hope that you'll get on the list, and there's 3,000 movies trying to get on a list that they'll show 40. So you want a 3,000 trying to get into 40, and even if you make the list, then you've got to hope that your movie is the one that gets the buzz.
And along that line, we just had Gina Carey, her film just got picked up for the Miami Film Festival. How many people came today with a one sheet that they want us to review, to look at?
All right, so
She had a question,
so you
though.
said so let me distribute these.
All right, I'm gonna pick these back up, there are only 9 of them, so you might have to share, and I'm gonna pick them up.
All right, and this
And I'm
is,
tough, so.
all right,
That's tough.
That's not what I
Me
heard.
too.
all right, so I will simply read what's on here, and then everybody can
Well,
comment. So the one sheet, you can see the way it's structured. It simply says Beyond Courage one sheet. Title, Beyond Courage. Genre is drama, action, adventure. Logline. In 1920s Alaska, cynical dog sledder Gunner and his lead dog, a dog no one wanted, must try to deliver life-saving serum through a savage Arctic winter to save the isolated town of Nome from a diphtheria outbreak that threatens to wipe out the entire population. But will politics, racial prejudice, and the blizzard of the century doom the people of northern Alaska? Inspired by true events. So that's the log line. And here's the summary. Alaska, 1925. An Eskimo Ugach races to bring Dr. Welch to his igloo, where his children lie gravely ill. Picking up his mail at Kate's saloon, Dr. Welch encounters Gunnar Kaysen, a cynical U.S. male dog sledder, and his lead dog, Balto, a dog no one wanted. In his home lab, Dr. Welch discovers that the Eskimo children are infected with diphtheria, a highly contagious disease nearly always fatal without life-saving antitoxin serum. Only there is no serum in isolated Nome. Mayor Maynard calls a town meeting which erupts into racial tension between whites and Aleuts. A desperate call for serum is sent by a radio telegraph to the state capitol in Anchorage, where Governor Bone fights the bureaucracy to get serum from Washington. The story covered by a young woman reporter, Mary. In Nome, Dr. Welch, his wife Lula, and Kate organize a quarantine. In Anchorage, as Governor Bone fights Washington bureaucracy, Mary and her boss and love interest Charlie find some serum. Although it's considered impossible to reach Nome in time, bad weather making flying impossible, a dog sled relay is organized. But as the relay begins with children in Nome on the verge of death, temperatures plunge and the blizzard of the century hits the north. As an anxious America listens by their radios, alone in the wilderness, Gunnar and Balto must confront the horrific Arctic storm, a marauding polar bear, and the demons from his past in the trenches of World War I, in a last-ditch attempt to deliver the life-saving serum.
Obviously, it's perfect.
And the question is, would you pay $14 to see that movie?
Yeah.
Is that how much it is now, 14?
Or whatever they charge
Well,
nowadays.
for a long time.
$13.50.
$13.50, whatever they charge.
Now, there's a cartoon called Balto,
There was a cartoon called Balto, absolutely.
but it doesn't have the part of Mary, the reporter. Yeah, go ahead.
No, it doesn't have any of
Yeah,
that stuff.
which
No,
is-
this is a totally different take, and it's not a cartoon.
Right,
This is a much more serious take.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Balto wasn't really
Thank you.
that popular, but
No,
it's a great story.
no, it's an unbelievable story. I don't think it was done right.
All right, yeah.
Got one
And
sitting up there.
I'd
Okay,
actually
good.
written this before that was done. Anyway, so, comments, first of all, the log line.
Can
It
you
seems
see
kind of
it?
long.
Can't remember it now.
How many words, is there a word cap on all this?
45, no? Wasn't that same
There's
word?
no-
That number, 45 words.
There's no
correct.
like official number or anything. It's whatever works, but saying as long is a good comment.
Isn't it 3 sentences tops or something in the log line, or is that changed? Not yours, I don't know, I don't have any in front of me.
Usually
Yeah,
it's
the
two
log line,
sentences.
three
Usually it's two sentences.
Oh.
This is actually one sentence, but it's just a long one.
Who's the chief antagonist?
I'm sorry?
Who's the chief antagonist? Is there one?
Uh,
Is it the storm?
This is really man versus nature.
Okay, like the Revenant.
Yeah, I mean, this is more man versus nature than anything else. Although, you know, there are other elements like, for example, Washington. You know, Washington. There are minor villains in terms of Washington bureaucracy or some racial tension elements in it. So you can have minor villains, but there's no major antagonist except the circumstance itself, the weather, the isolation, the fact that it's man versus nature. It's a man versus nature drama.
Okay, so that gave us an idea of what a log line, how it should read and things like that, so, you know.
And yeah, I think that comment that it's too long is a good one, thank you for that. Does anybody else have?
Well, I'm just saying that, I mean, I guess you said you're the pro, so why don't we go ahead and take the learners, the amateurs and listen to theirs, and then we can get an idea of how it all fits together.
Yeah.
I didn't make enough copies to
No,
pass
no, no,
around, so-
Amateurs when you don't get paid, right?
So I have,
Amateur is somebody that's.
Yeah,
I have a question.
Or you get to be paid.
Yes.
Why don't we,
So, I remember doing a few months ago, I think it was in August or something, and we were supposed to give like a synopsis. And one of the things that kept repeating, that there was a panel, and one of the things that you guys were drilling into us was, I don't want to hear us, the story. I want to hear like concepts or and ideas. And so, how is this one?
well, why don't we, I'm sorry, if we're gonna start, why don't we start with him?
Oh,
Because that's
okay,
what-
sorry.
Well, no, but let's at least get the questions.
Oh, we can wait till later. if
But
you
he was
want.
going to do his one sheet.
No, I
No,
was
he's
going to.
still
He was asking
I was
a
asking a question
question,
about what
Janine.
he just presented.
Oh, okay.
He was asking a question to me.
Sorry, I remember, do you remember when we had the panel?
Yeah.
And we
we
came
had
up
a
and
mentor
we
talk.
shared things. And
Yeah.
one of the things that was being drilled into us was, I don't want to hear a
The story, tell the concept, right?
Right. tell the
Yeah, but
concept.
this
So-
is a one sheet. A one sheet is different. In a
Oh,
one sheet,
okay.
you do tell the story. The difference is when you're telling the plot, you're not telling the plot as a synopsis. You're telling the plot to sell the story. In other words, you're emphasizing the sizzle, not the steak.
You're referring back to what we did in August.
So what I'm saying is, yeah, you are telling the plot here,
Oh, okay, got it.
okay?
Different than what we were doing in
It's
August.
different than we were
So
doing.
August is the concept rather than,
Right.
Fred
This
went
is-
here and then
this-
Ralph did
here-
this.
Here, you're actually telling,
okay, got it.
The story.
I was all goofed because I'm there. My synopsis is messed up because I was
yeah,
telling this.
no, here you are telling the story, but you're telling the story in a selling way.
Okay.
In other words,
got it.
I'm telling this story not because I'm telling you everything that's happened. I'm not telling you a tenth of what happened in the story. I'm telling you the story only in the sense that I want you to buy this thing. Okay? So I'm telling you the sizzle, not the steak.
That's one thing that's hard, because, I mean, we're looking at synopsis, we're looking at log lines, we're looking at treatments, we're looking at beat sheets, we're looking at, one sheet, so, I mean, everything has in the industry a reason behind it, and everything you have to pull to put those together.
One
Bring in
different.
different parts of your screenplay, but once you understand how you pull all of those different things to meet the needs of a treatment or a beat sheet or something like that, or a one sheet or a synopsis, it helps you go back and continually look at your script and say, whoa, this is missing here and that's missing there, it should be rearranged or something. So basically, it's kind of like a reevaluation continually of everything that you're writing and tightening it up and bringing it so it's really nice.